good morning, and welcome to your Business and Digital. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, November 29th. We are so excited to be here. It's going to be an awesome show. Welcome, team. How's everyone doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy
Good
Morning.
Wednesday.
Well, we're super excited because today we have an amazing digital marketing strategist or digital agency owner, Estee, coming to talk to us today. So it's going to be a great show. She's based in Orlando, so that should be super fun. I love talking to a good digital marketer. And seeing that all you guys are now digital marketers is going to be a good conversation. So let's kick to the intro and get this party started. Good morning. Good morning. So I have to take a moment to make sure here at Your Business in Digital and celebrate one of our birthdays. It's not my birthday. It's not Michael's birthday, and it's not Andrea's birthday. So happy birthday to you, Michelle. Yesterday was Michelle's, what is it, 30th?
I'm 35 all the time. 35.
35. Okay. Well, happy 35th birthday. Did you do anything fun and exciting?
Another number, but I'm good with it. It was a fantastic birthday. I stateside, which is unusual. Normally, my husband and I take the opportunity to get on the plane, use the passport, and get out of Dodge. But we stayed local, and it was phenomenal. It was a great birthday, and I was happy to celebrate it. And I'm paying the price for it this morning, but it was fantastic.
Well, you look great. So that's all that matters.
Thank you, friends. I appreciate the acknowledgement. I love you guys. You're the best. Thank
Oh, we
you.
love you. All right, so that's our birthday celebration. Amazing. All right, so let me get the housekeeping out of the way. So this is your Business and Digital show. We are the show where we talk to you not just about birthdays, but we talk to you about your business in digital and how can you really be effective and get to that place of achieving your business goals. We talk to you about, if you're working with an agency, some of the expectations you should have. We talk to you about how do you go to your CFO and say, hey, digital increased my revenue by 10%, by 20% year over year. We also talk to you about how do you make your sales team happy by making sure that you are providing them with marketing assisted leads that are warm, nice, almost hot leads, people that are ready to take things to the next level. And that's why we do this show, because we want to make sure that you are achieving your business goals through digital. So let me tell you where you can connect with us. Connect with us on YouTube. We are live on YouTube this morning. Hello, everyone watching us on YouTube. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live. Love LinkedIn, LinkedIn family. Thank you for following us at Your Business in Digital. And if you cannot catch us live, that's fine. You can watch the show later on YouTube, on LinkedIn, or if you prefer podcasts, we're everywhere podcasts are found. Your Business in Digital. So definitely check us out. Follow us, connect with us, and we're excited to have everyone connect with us. Tell a small business executive about this show. All right, housekeeping out of the way. Rolling through the recap. So what did we talk about last week? We talked about hot topics. It was just like the buzz show. This show was so fun. There were so many things that we talked about. So Michael talked about
Bill C-18. So no more news in Canada in a little while.
Yeah. Give us a quick overview. What is it?
So Bill C-18, if you missed it, we talked about Bill C-18, which was passed in June this year in Canada, which means that Meta will no longer display links to news publishers. Neither will Google on Search, Discover, and another one of their products. And that's going to take effect on the 19th. So you will not be able to view these things on Facebook, Instagram, or search them. You would have to find your news directly from the publisher's website or from their app. And that's happening. That takes effect December 19th.
Well, we can't wait to see what happens with C18. It's going to be exciting. Michelle, you talked about Hall and Oates. Tell the people, recap the people on Hall and Oates.
Hall and Oates, this one has been a fun one. I had a couple of people ping me about this afterward, actually, to talk about it. They're a very popular group from our earlier, younger ages, I should say, who have been in the industry and have a lot of respect for being around for decades, but there's strife within them. And Daryl Hall is suing his partner, John Oates, for breach of contract. And it was quite controversial, and it was a wake-up call, and is a wake-up call for us to understand that while we may be in a great business now with a partner or several partners, life evolves, your business evolves, and it is in our best interest to protect our space as our business moves along its process. One, to understand and reassess our business relationships. Two, to make sure that you're legally protected all the way around. And three, to ensure that you have a transition and exit strategy that evolves as your business evolves. Nothing remains the same, and nor should any of your legal matters, your business relationships. And it's just really healthy to assess not only your business model and everyone you're targeting, but how are you moving your business along in your relationships as well. So it was hot, a hot thing in here stateside in the industry, and probably revived their music, and they got a bit more sales out of it as well. So
awesome.
There's that.
And Andrea, your trend, you talked about Black Friday and small businesses. So do a quick recap on that.
Yeah, so I spoke about Black Friday and whether, it's for small businesses. Black Friday is a trend that started years ago by big corporate entities as a way of, selling off items in preparation for Christmas. And it just morphed into this week-long extravaganza of sales and deals. And, everybody's trying to jump, all different manners of business started to jump on the trend. But when you look at small businesses trying to jump on that trend, it's dangerous because you're asking for deep, deep discounts, right? Black Friday has become this thing where people are not accepting anything less than 30% off. So you're talking about cutting into your already thin margin as a small business in order to say that you participated in this trend. So, I was kind of bucking the tradition and saying, hey, if Black Friday is not for you as a small business, it's not for you. Or maybe you need to find a more creative way to be part of it. But it's not for everyone. And definitely small businesses, they feel it worst, right? So it's like you are trying to jump on a trend that was probably never meant for small business in the first place, because it kind of goes against everything that they stand for. As a small business, you're more concerned about building relationships with your customers and creating value. Big Black Friday sales, they're just trying to get rid of old stock and get you to buy and spend your money. And it's very transactional, which is not what a small business wants. So yep, I was saying basically here what you don't have to jump on the trend. It's not, if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Oh my God, the controversy of this show sometimes. I'm like, oh boy. Anyway, it's super smart. I love that because you're 100% right. But how do you tell someone, don't participate in Black Friday? It's not for you. Because everyone is prepping for Black Friday, but you're 100% right. That's our CFO there talking. Pay attention. And I talked a little bit about that girl math trend. Right, we're seeing it everywhere now. The girl math, Michael finally understands what girl math is. And
Not sure if I would go as far as understand, but I know what it is.
So definitely one of the hot topics is the girl trend math. And I mean, that has been something that some people like it, some people don't like it. So if you're a business and you're thinking about jumping on the trend, you really want to consider, does this fit into my business model, right? Is this for me? You want to make sure if your target audience are feminists, maybe girl math, it's not a trend that you want to use. It could be lighthearted, but you also could leverage it to maybe something like an influencer strategy, right? That could be a good way for you to use that. If you're using an influencer, think about how that could be leveraged in something like that. If you want to consider maybe letting people know that, hey, the price is a little bit pricier. It's a good way to talk about price and girl math and price, because a lot of the jokes we've seen have been about, oh, this shirt was $700, but now it's what? just $350. So leveraging it that way. So as a small business, we talk to you about not just jumping on trends all the time, but looking to see, does this trend fit into my business model? Is my target audience okay with this? So if you want to consider using it, just think about all those things. It is the right way for you to go before you just jump into a trend. So the recap, I loved the show last week. It was so much fun because we have so many hot topics, right? We have so many things that we talk about, and it's like, yay! So that was really
not far away. It was just Monday.
It was just Monday. It was, just seems so far away.
Last week.
It's like seems like last week. All right. Well, anyway, we are moving on to our hot topic segment today. This one I'm super excited about. So go for it, Michael. What's the hot topic? What is that sound effect?
Listen, this has had the world, North America, at least I can verify North America was buzzing. Snoop goes smokeless. It's one of the most talked about campaigns to happen. So Snoop goes smokeless. Of course, this causes, Nia, if you want to just put that first slide, because that tells the whole story. So about the middle of the month, Snoop posted this and just had respect my privacy. That was it. And of course, he has about, Snoop has currently, let me tell you, 83.1 million followers on Instagram alone. So all the comments started running in. We are with you, Snoop. He even posted 2 days later, successively for 2 more days, where it was just him just saying respect my privacy or saying natural high, only to catch everyone and then post a video with him talking about, he's tired of the icky, sticky, smelly smoke and he's going smokeless. Well, guess what? It meant he was switching his brand of fire pit. And he is now the new spokesman, as they call it, for this brand of smokeless fire pit that produces less flame, less smoke. And he ends the video by saying, clever indeed, very clever, sir, very clever indeed. Now, that video alone has gotten hundreds of thousands of shares, I think almost 900,000 shares, and has been just a talked about campaign in the way it was delivered, because, of course, Snoop is notoriously known for his love of marijuana and has even partnered as far as bringing out certain brands called Best Buds. So this really caught everyone's attention. It was great visibility for this new product. And the only thing I'll add here is the question remains, is it going to push sales, or is it just pushing visibility? Or did the influencer overshadow the product? So that's the hot topic for today. It's all a buzz. Snoop going smokeless, and it's an ad for a brand of smokeless fire pit. I got you. So this was really insane. This was, good marketing delivery, right? Yeah. So he said that, he posted, then 2 days later, he posted again, just a picture, close up of him looking really pensive, like he's struggling with withdrawal, really and truly. People are chiming in, if you're doing it, we're doing it. The comments were insane. And then the ad comes out, he posts the reel, and there it is. And it's doing great. I tried to find a more up-to-date, did it help the product or not? It's too early to tell, but it definitely got a huge amount of visibility. For anyone who had heard the story of Snoop going smokeless, they would quickly hear, no, he's not. He's using a stove.
He's not using a stove. Listen, I like the campaign. I think it's a good idea. I love it. But you're right. I want to see the analytics after, right? Did it give Snoop more visibility? Was he the influencer that overshadowed the brand? Or did this help the brand in a way? Did it introduce, it could be good brand awareness, right? Did it introduce people? What were the jump off points from his platform to their platform? So I would be interested, of course, to see what do the analytics look like? Someone works at that place. Please share analytics with us. Let us know if it worked or not.
Let us know. And it got, so to be correct, it got 2.2 million shares on Instagram alone.
2.2 million shares, but that was more about Snoop going smokeless.
But that was exactly
product
Exactly.
getting the shares, right? So I think there's a balance, right? So I think super interesting conversation. Super interesting. What do
Now
you
on
think?
the actual ad, the ad itself got 903,000 shares.
The ad got 903,000 shares versus multiple millions. That, I think the scale weighed heavily on the opposite side. It was the influencer side. It was really interesting, I thought, when I read it, because it was even such a topic of conversation that my 82-year-old aunt was paying attention to it, and she commented on it and thought, and gave her comments and thought that was hilarious. So it was, for me, it was quite interesting. And you're right, Michael. Here locally, there was a San Diego station that interviewed a cannabis reporter. Those do exist, by the way. And she was mentioning, like, do I need to reconsider my habits? And I said, seriously? And that's when it hit me and it struck me on something that you said. Was it more leaning towards Snoop and his value, or the product that he was promoting? And in this instance, it to me, after we spoke about it, I said, you're right, that fell short a bit. It really fell short a bit, and I think in what their outcome was, but maybe their results that they were seeking, I'd be interested in what their goals were and what the actual results were, and not just the exposure, but the conversion rate that they get and the longevity of that. Will we now see a flip from Snoop to more ads and more touch points for that actual product itself? But you said it was a stove. That was a whole other conversation. What was the product really they were trying to put out there? Was it a feature of the product, or was the real product? Was it a stove? Was it, an outdoor fire pit? Whatever the heck it was, we still don't know what the real product was.
Correct. And of course, that post has been swallowed by the many posts on his page already.
I'm just based on the statistics that you shared so far, that sharing of the ad, the 900,000 with 2 point something million. Yeah, if I was the finance person, I'd be like, are we getting back what we invested? Because I know they didn't pay Snoop no small money to do this. So immediately I'm going to be wondering, well, how much we paid him to drive him to us, and only to see that it's his post that is getting shared, and it's his supposed withdrawal that is getting more attention than our product. So you're right, Michelle. I'll be interested to see how it converts. How are they going to now take this heightened awareness of him and send it, traffic it back to their site or to their product? I mean, we could only hope that there's going to be more ads coming out where they probably explain the product more, because you're right, I still don't know what the product is. All I know it's a fire pit. And it's like, okay, so how is it going smokeless though? Is it some sort of new technology? Some kind of, what is the angle? What is the angle here? But what would be interesting to see though, and I guess this is where I'm putting on my marketing hat now, if marijuana, people may jump on that trend now to kind of capture, because the topic is more about marijuana than this about the fire pit. So maybe they should jump on the trend and do some kind of anti-fire pit. I don't know.
Maybe they're targeting the weed audience. You're right. Maybe the weed audience likes fire pits, some music, drums, good vibe. I don't know, but I guarantee when I heard Snoop went smokeless, I was just like, he has a weed business. It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Literally, I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever. Let me know. And then it came back to
This was no Stanley Cup moment. Let's put it that way.
Literally thought the same thing. I was like, no Stanley Cup moment. Stanley Cup. They set the bar for us. Your car catches on fire and you got a cup of ice still. Stanley Cup. All right. This was awesome.
The last point I'll add is, given all your feedback, is yes, it was interesting that there was not us, get this product here or get this product there. It was just, I'm using this. So you're right. It didn't detail
no call to action.
No real call to action.
No follow-up. Have you even seen a follow-up on this? Not a follow-up.
No. But great visibility.
Or one that's hitting our airways. Or one that's hitting our FYP. I mean, seriously.
Right. So maybe the marketing team were also, using the other Snoop product. when I came up with this idea. We'll see. It could work, guys. It could work. Let's,
Marketers loved it.
we loved it. So, oh my God, this was great. All right. Great hot topics. We love Snoop. Awesome. All right, so we're moving right along. We're moving on along to our favorite segment, Go Beyond the Likes. Wow, Nia, you are killing the game with the sound effects. So Go Beyond the Likes is where we really kind of dig into more strategies, talk to you about things that businesses are doing to really move their digital forward, right? We want you to go beyond those likes and follows and get to that place of money in the bank. So this segment today, super excited about it. I always love a good Go Beyond the Like segment. And today we have Estee Santoni from VIVA Marketing Agency. She is going to join us today. She's a digital marketer. She's going to talk to us about mastering the digital landscape and digital marketing for small businesses. So bringing Estee to the stage, drum roll please, blah, blah, blah. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Intro. Thank you. I feel like I need a dose of you guys in the morning and then my coffee and we're set. So yeah.
Right. Everyone says that. We've also had at like 5 a.m., right? So
Yeah.
welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you here. Estee, tell our community who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Estee Santoni, VIVA Agency. I've been in media for about 20 years. So radio life is where I began, and TV, did that for a very long time. And within there, I did a lot of digital sales, marketing, promotions, advertising, just kind of all of it, everything that goes into media. So after those 2 decades, I said, why not go out on my own? So took a leap and launched my own company. So it's been incredible. I've had a lot of support. It's interesting when you make such a change like that, and you pray, you cry, you do all the things, you do it, and you think you're on an island, and then you get support from the people that you least expect. So it's been incredible, although I left that company to have people still supporting me on this journey. So it's been an awesome 20 years, but I have seen this since, Facebook started, when it was like, oh, it's only for college students. And now if you don't have a Facebook, you're insane, right? Like that's where we are at this time. So I've kind of seen the growth from A to Z.
Right. 100%. Love that. I super understand starting a journey with a digital marketing agency. Be like, can we really do this?
Mhm.
Support is always helpful. So 5 years in. So, I mean, I love talking to you. We met at the Chamber of Commerce. So again, here's the Chamber doing its job.
Yeah. Right?
Like 2 weeks ago. So that was awesome. So Estee, you know what? We want to jump in and talk a little bit about, digital and digital marketing, and talk to us a little bit about what do you hear? What are some of the pain points and challenges that you hear from your clients?
So in my world, I'm focused on small to medium-sized businesses, right? And so for me, the big overarching pain point is money. So it is hard because this is not a necessity for a business. When you talk about legal matter, and protection, a lot of companies will invest in that. So like, we need an attorney on our side, we need help, like we need to make sure we're protected. When it comes to our world, or at least speaking from my experience, this is something that isn't necessarily necessary if you don't see the value. So it's really trying to make the client understand the value of marketing. You don't have to throw $10,000 a month. You can do a couple $100. Where can you start and do something consistently and make that your goal for Q1 or the entire year? So for me, that big pain point is the money factor, right? Which it is for all of us. And then understanding what you need. There are so many options out there, right? So when you think about our world here, you've got the social media, then you can do pay per click. And what does that mean? And then you've got, retargeting and geofencing. Do I need that? Do I need SEO? All of a sudden you're like, what are these words? People get super techie. What are you telling me? What do I need? So it's really just trying to speak with the client in a language that they understand. In our world, we can say some of these things and you get it. You're like, all right, SEO, we get it, girl. But for a lot of my clients are like, just how do I get customers in the building? What do I need to do? So it's really, I think those two is the monetary side of it, right? Making sure that you have the budget. What does that mean? How much should I spend a month on marketing? And then what do I actually need in marketing?
Yeah, no, 100%. The other thing we see too is that sometimes they've been hurt by other marketers.
Yeah.
right?
Yes, I actually had a client who was like, I've been screwed, right? Just to put
Right.
it out there. He's like, I've been screwed before. I've spent a ton of money. What are you telling me? Is this even real? And I'm like, well, here's the difference. Transparency. So here's a link. You can see it all. I'm not going to screw you. You know what's working and what isn't. And if it isn't, we go ahead and we pivot and we fine tune. So I think it's again, the transparency helps ease that pain point for a lot of people where they're like, okay, thank you for being honest, or thank you for giving me this data and information and not just your opinion at the end of the month saying, this is what your campaign did. And then, business owner X has no idea what it actually did. I think transparency helps kind of address that.
100%. And that's why we do this show too, so that we're talking about your business in digital. We're making these things. If you're working with an agency, these are the questions you should be asking, right? Because you're right, it's so confusing and we get so techy. We say SEO, people are like, CEO of the what? They're like,
Yeah.
what? I mean, there's a new acronym every Monday morning for us, right? So 100%, I love that. Go for it, Michelle.
It is. Estee, welcome. Welcome to the show. We're happy to have you here and as another strong voice that can help our community understand what's going on here. Let's pull the string, something that you mentioned a little bit earlier that we experience all the time with our clients in this space. They believe that they almost need like a master's or a doctorate degree in order for them to even participate in digital marketing. How do you help them to overcome this so that simplify and are educated more and trusting so that they understand, and that helps to develop your relationship and move your strengths forward in what you're doing?
So it boils down again to that transparency, and I'm probably going to say that a lot. So sorry if I sound like a broken record, but for me, it's that open and honest conversation because people want, when you're talking about a small to medium sized business and being a daughter of small business owners for almost 50 years, the Cuban immigrants get here, don't know the language, don't know what's happening, and they got to figure it out. And they do. So they've had to lean on people throughout the years. And that trust was only developed because those people were open and honest with them. And those people held their hand and said, this is what you have to do, right? So not every business lends itself to that, but me and my focus in the Central Florida community, I can do that, right? So for me to get them to trust and understand, I will meet with them in person. I will let them know, what I offer and what I believe they need. And sometimes what they need isn't necessarily what's best for my pocket because I want to sell them on anything. They're gullible, they're desperate, they'll probably pay anything if the budget makes sense, right? But for me, it's not taking advantage of that and saying, you don't need that right now. I had somebody actually I met with yesterday who wants to do A to Z on his website and get out the marketing. And I'm going, let's just start here. Let's just do this for Q1. Don't get overwhelmed. I don't want to rob your bank here. Let's just figure this out. Once you see movement on that, he'll be motivated, because I trust in my product and my service and the way I carry everything that he will be happy and satisfied. And then he'll want to spend a little more. But it's not like I'm duping him, tricking him like Snoop did to everybody, like you guys were talking about. And then, I'm not going to trick the guy into spending money. Like, I think that for me is how I've been able to build that trust, is letting them know truthfully what they need right now. Marketing is fluid. Like, these marketing plans are not set in stone. You can change it. We can pivot at any time. So them understanding that they can add, take out, go left and right at a drop of a dime, is really important to me. For sure.
You need a round of applause for that. Marketing is fluid and they don't know without it, right? Sometimes they build a plan and the plan becomes this roadblock to them, right? And the thing with digital is that the analytics tell you different things. So you need to be able to optimize. You need to be able to pivot. It's so nimble, but we get caught up in, this is my plan. How do I stick to it, right? So I love that.
Well, and naturally we're rigid. If as people, like, we want things done the right way. I want to lose weight. I want to lose 20 pounds by next month. I want to go vegetarian. I don't want to touch meat ever again. Like, I feel like a lot of us are just extreme. We want to do it right, do it well, and go from 0 to 100. And so it's really just kind of telling them it's okay. We can do little by little. And once you start adding that up over the course of a year or two, you've got a full, comprehensive, hyper, involved marketing plan. You don't have to do it all on day one.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show, Estee. Nice to meet you. So I admire what you said, and I connected with, that trust factor and that what is best for you conversation. even if it means telling the client, well, you know what, you don't need all of this. Let's start here. I've adopted a similar attitude in my business, where when people come to me, they come with their ideas. So it's similarly with marketing, they come and say, I need to do ads. And they may come and say, I need to do this, but you're saying, well, no, you don't necessarily need to go this way. And it's a similar attitude that I adopt to help them build their structure, right? Kind of say, no, let's start here with this little thing and build it out. So, what are some of the strategies then for a small business owner that is trying to expand that digital footprint? What are some of the strategies that you tend to recommend to help take them on that journey?
Yeah, and I apologize for jumping in. It had cut off, and I thought you were done speaking. But so for me, I believe in putting your best foot forward, right? So for me, it kind of starts at the website. If you're investing in digital marketing, we also do radio and TV. So, that would be a different, a different avenue. But if you're talking digital marketing, want to get your website out there, what does your website look like? And is there content? And you guys understand that. But with anything like SEO, you have to have content. You can't just have one simple page that says, here we exist, we sell cars, call us, we'd love to fix yours. I mean, well, why are you special? Do you offer free estimates? Like, what do we come to our house? What are kind of your selling points? So for me, it's going through the website. You don't have to revamp it. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars in redoing and having a brand new website. Something is something, just exists, but making sure that you have, call to action, and this could be editing the text. So for me, right, long story short here, I can get wordy, is making sure that your website is explaining what you offer, your product or your service. And once it's there, then we take the next step. So if you're listening right now and you're thinking, oh my gosh, like, take a look at your website. Do you have a designer? Can you do it yourself? Kind of make those edits, make sure that you have your I don't want to say best, because there's always room for improvement, but a very good foot forward. And then once you have that very good foot forward, then you start developing, whether it's SEO. So how do you get your website to exist? You've spent money and time on this. How can people find out that your website is here? So maybe it's starting with a nice SEO plan monthly, or perhaps it's some Google ads, or are you just more on social media? Is that where your industry lives and you'd like some paid social behind the content? So, we would kind of go through some of those, like I know, you do as well, but it's just making sure they know exactly what they need. And I think it all starts with, your face, right? Which is your website, digitally speaking.
100%. That's what you drive people back to, right? So the ads, all the things drive there. So what does that experience look and feel like?
Yeah, 100%.
Love it, love it. Let's give her a round of applause. I'm gonna bring Michael back to the stage, because I know Michael was like, all right,
like the girl math, the girl combo. I'm back.
Oh, Estee feels me already, right? She feels my struggle.
Yes.
Good morning. So, as you're talking about SEO and, website being all important, I'm going to switch back to a little bit of industry talk. As you said, you're right. We like to use terms. But what do you see AI impacting when it comes to search? And I'm leaning more to where do you see businesses have to take their content? That's the question I really want to ask. Where do you see them having to take their content going forward?
So it's interesting because AI exploded on the scene, right? Like we went from we heard about it, right? We went from not much to it exists, everyone's using it, what's going on? We went from 0 to 60. And now I feel like there's almost like a pullback. We're kind of like, okay, because like those of you who have probably been messing with it, like for myself, when I started really trying to understand, so when clients said, well, I'm not going to pay you, I can do this myself. So I had to really understand what AI is. Can they truly do it themselves and do the whole website and not think twice? Or, is this just a tool? And like you mentioned, who was it? The sous chef? Who am I giving credit to? Somebody had mentioned. But anyway.
Jeff.
Okay, Jeff. I was like, I remember there was like a sous chef conversation with Tamara, but so, it's a tool. And so for me, that's how I've been able to really tell my clients, you can't lean on it. I mean, after you put in a ton of prompts, all of a sudden it starts the same, the cadence is there. This magic that we're having now on the podcast is very, instantaneous. It's sporadic. Michael comes in with a question. You've caught me off guard. You've got to think with different gears. We laugh. There's a pause. There's so many nuances, and you can apply that to your website and marketing. Once you start getting AI in, it's incredible. It's an incredible tool. I use it, not going to lie. I definitely approach those websites as something that I can use in my world, but I can't rely on it fully. I mean, you just can't. It sounds different. It sounds all sometimes monotonous, the adjectives. Sometimes I'm like, you don't need to get that crazy describing this item. We're good. It is magical. It's mystical. It's everything, so you have to really understand what you're doing with it and how to use it just enough. And, I think a lot of people have kind of used this analogy, but calculators at one point, computers, everything was looked at as taking my job. This may take some jobs, but if we can figure out how to stay relevant and use it as a tool, I think it's important. So business owners, if you don't have it, get on something, do the free stuff. You don't have to pay a ton of money to get in there because you're not like building out full on campaigns. But if it's to help clear up some writer's block, or you hear, a phrase today that, on the podcast you don't understand, and maybe, AI can kind of break it down in a more conversational tone for you versus, something online. So use it to your advantage. I think it's great.
You think it's great too?
Very great.
Guy. You're so right, because AI has been happening, right? So we all use it, right? Our phones, we're opening our phones with our faces. We've been using AI, and then all of a sudden ChatGPT happened, and it was like, my life is over. And slowly but surely, you kind of start seeing it. You exactly what you said. We're pulling back now because it's like, what is the impact of it? And everything now, you can tell when people write something with AI, you're like, all right, the whole thing is written with AI. And where's your brand voice fit into that, right? That's what we want to talk to businesses about. What is that mix of? Is it, hey, I'm using AI and only 30% of the AI and 70% of my brand voice? You really need to have that formula because you've spent so much time building on your brand voice, and AI just cannot pick up your brand voice. So as Jeff said, AI has no soul. And I think that's where the differences are, we got soul.
Well, and I'll take it back to like my radio days, right? Back in 03, 04, right? When I started, radio was, you have to be live and local, and you wanted the Estee of the world on your radio station. I'm showing at the club and the party and the whatevers. And you're like, I got to meet this chick. 10 years later, they started what's called voice tracking. So you start plugging in the Estees of the world into all these different markets. So I'd be in Orlando saying, hey, you got to, listen to this radio station. We got the new X, Y, and Z song, the super cool festival. When your ticket's here at 9, I'd get off, go in another room and pre-record breaks for another market. Hey, it is this, and you got this festival, nothing to do with Orlando. So all of a sudden, Estee is pumped into all these markets. So the company's saving a ton of money, obviously. One person just knocking out all these things and the same window of breaks. So you're not paying me extra, right? But what they saw was, and they still use it, so it's not like it totally is out, but what they saw was that personality was getting lost, right? They were saying, be in short, be quick, get to the point. Don't let them know that you're in Orlando because you're all of a sudden in Miami or New York or PA. And people want to know what's happening on I-4. I want to know that the Magic game just got out and there's crazy traffic. I want to know that Hurricane Charlie just came through and there's a huge tree in the middle of whatever road. Like, we want to know that. And Estee in Orlando is not going to know that in Miami. So I had to keep it very generic. So, again, I'm just trying to apply that into the technology was there. It saved them money. It cut costs, but they lost a little of that personality. So they had to now retrain some of them. And not that they took out the voice trackers of the world. And they said, hey, Estee, I need you to plug into Miami. I need you to connect with the influencers. I need you to know what's happening. Have your connections, whether it's an attorney, a real estate person, a weather person, have these connections. So when you talk about Miami, we don't want to pretend that you don't exist there. We need you to connect. So it's just understanding that you have to find ways to reinvent. And at first it seems amazing, money, time, you've got a new bestie online who can, AI your stuff and help you out, but you do have to bring that personality and that touch to it, like you said.
100%. We love that. Let's get a round of applause. Estee, you are
round of applause. You guys are making me feel good this morning.
That's what we do here in the morning.
I love it.
Every day started with a round of applause, okay?
Yes, I'm here for this.
Come to this show, we will always applaud. All right. So next question for you. This is one of my favorite ones because it comes back to the analytics and to the data, right? How do you talk to your customers about data analytics? What do you share with them and what do you talk to them about? Because again, it can be so convoluted, right? It's so many things. Is it the impressions? Is it the click through? How do you talk to them about analytics? Because I know that a lot of people only understand likes, follows an impression sometimes. And that's why we have that term going beyond the likes, because we want people to start thinking about that, right? So how do analytics, I know it works, you pull it, you use it, but how do your customers see it? Are they confused? What happens with the in the analytics space?
Well, and shout out to you guys with this podcast too, because I think that is important that you always break down these topics in a very relatable, conversational way, because it is very heady and techy. And I value that, because my strength is not data and analytics. Like, it is another job for me to put my head down and look at these numbers and try to understand it. That is not my strength. It took me a long time to finally admit that, because I wanted to be the girl that knew everything. And now I'm like, I'm good. Where's the person that knows this stuff? Tell me what I need to do. So for my clients, I try to really put myself in their position, which I am, and explain to them in a way that it's like the click-through rate or the impressions versus somebody saw this, somebody actually engaged. Did they convert? Somebody actually walked into your store. So I think there's ways to explain, and I say store digitally speaking, that footprint. I think there's just ways to break it down. So we have a link that our clients can click on, and I crack up because I always send it, with the recap at the end. I go, hey, there's a link here. It's super techy, a ton of stuff. Here's the summary. If you don't believe me, go double check it in the link. But here's the breakdown. Your wins, your this, and I break it down as normal speak as possible. So again, just kind of saying, you moved up in these keywords are number one, people are basically seeing your website more. These are the words that are most attractive to them. So I try to just understand that when I first got into this, what I understood and how, I was able to take in all that information, and that jargon is how I believe my clients would understand it as well. And I get those, like I have one who's like, girl, I used to do this, so I know what you're saying. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. You make my job easier. But for those who don't, I really want to make sure that they understand it in the most relatable way as possible.
I love that.
And I'll start telling them, go check out the podcast. Go listen here. And now you understand.
Right. I love that, because I think it's really important that people understand their data points, right? And that's where I live. I love the marketing side, but the analytics really kind of, I nerd out there. I get to spend a lot of time making assumptions and, looking to see where they can optimize. But I think that for me is the most important part of the marketing that people miss, because they see the pretty picture, and they spend a lot of time focused on that, not necessarily understanding how these numbers play back to that money in the bank, right? And I think that's the conversation we want to start having, or we have here. It's how do we get it to that money in the bank, right? These analytics, these numbers are now, you can quantify it. You can go and say, hey, this drove me $100, because usually the problem with digital is that it's this supplement that drives me these things that I don't understand. And I tend to do different things in digital than I do offline, because people feel like it's the wild, wild west, right? So they're like, no, I don't see, I did this thing, I boosted this post. And you're like, okay. How did you do that?
Well, and it depends what their goal is too. Like in the, with dealerships, when we were in media, and we would do what's called a remote. And so a remote is when you remotely broadcast from a place. So, dealerships saying, hey, we want to pay for our remote. We want this brand out at our event talking about our deals. We want their team out there hyping it up. So you, as a driver in your local market, look to your right and you say, oh, there's a party at that dealership. What's going on? You stop by, you get your keychain, take a selfie, and you're out. And I remember one of the interns asking me, how much do these dealerships pay for these events on site? Because we've had a lot of people come in, grab the keychain, take a selfie, and leave, and they're not buying a car. And I'm like, well, no, they don't. I don't think the dealerships, they don't expect people to come in and just drop, $10,000 down payment and leave that day with a car. It's brand awareness. They want people. So the day that Michael or Tamara, Michelle, right, one of you says, I need my car, my tires out, whatever, the engine, that you go to that dealership, because you're like, I remember the big party on this corner. They have to have some cool deal. They know what they're doing. Let me go and see what their deals are. Now, a year or two later, you've sold that car, right? So it's really just understanding the goal. You're going to invest. And as long as they clearly know what the expectations are. So to your point, saying, these clicks drove to this conversion, which then made this, this sale, or it was brand awareness. Now look at, your website's getting more clicks and more impressions. So more people are viewing you, your marketing is working. So if they understand what the expectations are, and we as marketers are clear in that and what those expectations are, it's more palatable, and they understand some of those details, I think.
She just said a word. Welcome to Estie's TED Talk. We're here to help her here.
And she used an automobile reference. So
Right. Right.
You need like this is the team always uses car references. So Andrew.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what did I'm like, I just offended
you did something very good.
I'm always like the car references, guys.
That's so funny.
It is amazing. What I think is fascinating, what you're talking about, that we encounter from a sales perspective, as we're trying to bring people in, we often encounter people who are saying, but if I can just get them in front of me, I can sell this. I can convince them to buy my product. They will understand what I'm trying to say. And I think it's important that we help them address that digital marketing is an extension of their sales arm. It's an extension of them and helps them to broaden their scope awareness and helps them to sell their products. How do you go about showing that digital marketing actually helps them to achieve their goals and sets their strategies forward? How do you have that conversation with them and convince them that this is the space that they need to be in?
So it's so interesting. As I was talking to somebody about this, I am not in the business, and maybe it sounds a little haughty, but of trying to convince people that they need marketing, because it is so, some people just don't, right? Like we talked about those ones who have been, hurt in the past and spent a ton of money. It's very hard to convince those people unless I'm saying, give me your money again and let me show you what I can do. They're going to be hesitant. They're like, I've already kind of been, I keep saying screwed. It sounds so ugly, but I can't think of another word, but screwed by another marketing company. So now I'm like convincing them to trust me. And now they're always going to have that, that chip on their shoulder. Let me see what you can do. So for me, it's like, you've got to at least believe in marketing and believe that it works. And if I got you there, then I'll work on the rest and really try to help you understand, because it is scary and it's an investment on something, again, that people think they don't absolutely need. We all know we need the bank account, the stuff, like all the scary stuff that you need, right, as a business owner. But then you're like, I'm good. All the legal stuff, I can get out to chambers, networking, and physically be out there. I should be set. So it's really just, it's not necessarily me trying to convince them to believe in marketing, because that is super tough. I've tried that, but it's just, hey, you already believe that it works. Let me show you what I can do. And I think that for me has been better. When I say, let me show you what I could do, it's not just here's, a story or an anecdote. It's truly the data. It's like, look what I did for this client, this business who, had no impressions on their website. Nobody was checking out their information. Nobody was converting. And then we created a landing page, put some money behind it and some energy and strong call to action. And they had X amount of conversions. And so we could do that for you for X amount of dollars. Let's see. So it's really just showing them some of that information as well, instead of just kind of giving them a story and hoping that they believe in what I'm telling them.
Is it an alignment of their strategies and understanding how digital marketing works with that? I often find in this space that the correlation table is just not there. It's in their world, it's relevant in everything they do, but they don't understand that that's sales and you do it every day. Every day in your personal life, you're selling something, you're trying to convince someone to adopt or to align or to marry with something that you believe in, or something that they've purchased when they clicked on it that was actually an ad that they paid for, that someone paid for to give them visibility so that you can see it and purchase it. I often find that it's an education thing, that they are not, clueless is harsh, that they're unaware that this was a component of sales and marketing that pushed this forward in their space, maybe TV, something they heard on the radio, on a podcast. It wasn't just something that came up in organic conversation. It was actually marketing that someone paid for. And that is pure, I want to say, they don't know what they don't know. And we often find that they may not be ready for us and what we provide in our services, but it's lack of information and lack of knowledge in the space. And strategically, they're unaware that they are not ready and need to get that information in order to move their business forward. Is that something that you encounter as you're talking about helping them develop their strategies or get their strategies out there? Or is that not something that you experience in your space?
No, I do. And I think, for me, I have found it very successful when I'm just a little more blunt. So when I first started out, I'm a little, go around, make the story, be pretty. And then I got to a point where I was just like, if you don't think it's for you, it's fine. Let me know when you're ready and we're here. And I would love to. And once I kind of say like, I don't want to, like, I don't need you, but it's kind of like, look, I know you need this, but I can't convince you that you need it. This is the reason, these are the reasons. And like you said, I have the story about that too, but, I can only do so much. So once I say that, it's like, it's all in your hands. Call me, let me know, grab coffee. I'd be more than happy to share more stories and show you more information. But otherwise, if you don't think it's right for you, or it's not the right time, it's fine. And I just have to kind of put that aside, because then I'm overlooking a potential opportunity that's behind them with somebody who's eager going, I have this and I'm chomping at the bits. Like, let's make this happen. With the whole marketing is around us all the time. And, my husband is like the earliest of earliest adopters. Every ad he's a sucker for. And I always call him out because he's like, oh my God, I need to get this new sweater. And I'm like, oh my God, I got you again. And I laugh. And I'm like, you see, because he was one of them. It's like marketing. I'm like, babe, it works. You are literally the person that I am trying to capture with every marketing campaign. I'm like, every ad, you're clicking, you're looking, you're staring. And then he thinks, oh my gosh, they're coming back. I'm like, they're retargeting you. Like, it just cracks me up. So I tell him and other people around me, I'm like, it is around you all the time. You are getting the ads and you are falling for it. And this is why it works. And it's genuine. I say falling and it sounds negative, but it's like, you want people to know that what your service has, what your item is, your shirt, the shoes, the car, anything that what you have is the best of the best. And you do that by letting people know the old school way back in, I say old school 304, when I was starting in radio, where it was just radio campaigns. Now you couple that with the podcasting radio, right? The apps, the streaming, and you've got this like huge campaign. It's the same thing that we've done for years. You're just using a different medium, So anyway, very passionate about that. I'm always reminding people, I'm like, you fell for it. It works. So feels good to say that.
I do the same thing because I always hear friends who are like, I'm not the typical buyer, but then they're like,
yes, you are.
Like, you are the person.
You are the person.
Oh goodness, yeah, it feels really good.
I love that. I just love that. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I know we're getting to the end. So Estee, you know what? Last question for you. Can you share some advice for small and medium businesses really looking to grow in the competitive digital marketing landscape? What would be the advice, one piece of advice you'd give to them?
So just to allocate some of your budget to marketing. It doesn't have to be a lot. I think people overthink it and they're scared because it sounds like such a huge, scary investment. And it can be. It depends on how much you want to put in, how big your company is, what your goals are. But if you just do something consistently, then I think you're good. Whether it's you say for 2024, right, we want to focus on our paid social. And maybe that's where all of your resources kind of go. I think whatever it is that you choose to do, it's $150 a month to $500 to $5,000 to $10,000, whatever it is that you want to invest, that you do it consistently. Let that live for, 6 months to a year. And then with that data and that information, then you can decide, do you add on to that in the next year? And all of a sudden you add a little bit by little bit by little bit. And each year you grow in your marketing plan. And again, then eventually you have this full comprehensive plan. You're checking all the boxes and it's running kind of on its own, on its own wheels, on its own machine. So I think it's just, don't be scared to do something, whatever it is, regardless of how small, just be consistent with that decision.
Oh, we love that. Consistency. Can we get a round of applause?
Yeah, it's a good point. A lot of us try to do so many things and then we give up because it didn't work after 3 weeks. And, just stay consistent.
Right. And it has to be more than 3 weeks. Absolutely. So, Estee, tell people where they can connect with you.
So yes, here on Instagram, you can go at the VIVA Agency. Also my own Estee.Santoni. I post on there as well. And LinkedIn, all the things. You just put in Estee Santoni or VIVA Agency Orlando and you'll find me. But yeah, hopefully we can definitely connect. And even if it's not in a business, just for coffee and chats, I'm here for that too. So I can chug coffee all the time.
Estee, thank you so much for joining us today. This was
super
awesome. We had such a good time.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet you all. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Take it easy. I know I'll see you very soon. We'll catch up. All right. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you. Likewise.
Bye. Oh, so fun. All the energy. I love it. I love having another digital
It's great.
marketer who says all the right things, right? It's like,
Straight. She
yeah,
gives it straight. I love that. I love that.
definitely, definitely. All right, guys. So we are at that stage where we're at final thoughts. So Andrea, I'm going to kick it over to you. What are your final thoughts for today?
Oh, I loved I loved her final thoughts, right? Because we've been speaking about that all the time. Consistency, start small. It doesn't have to be a mountain of things. Because marketing, as we always demonstrate, has so many different elements to it that not all the elements are required at the same time, right? You just don't have the budget for it. So, really take a look at your marketing, find one thing. And that's what I'm doing as well for 2024. I'm finding what's the one thing I want to do for 6 months, and I'm going to do that next year. So it's not going to be everything, but it's going to be one thing, and we're going to tweak and tweak and tweak until we move to something else. So if you approach it with that, this whole digital landscape wouldn't seem so big and scary, and it becomes a little more manageable, and you can really take your business to the next level. So I loved what
Can
you
I add
said,
something,
and
Andrea? You're
there's
going to
so
do
many.
one new thing because you're already doing things and you're not going to stop those things, right? So it's you add one new thing and you keep, and that's how you build a magic formula, right? It's let me add on to this. I've changed my talk track. I blah, blah, blah. I'm adding on to this. I'm adding on to that. So that's how you build the actual magic formula. So love that.
Absolutely.
Go for it, Michelle.
I enjoyed Estee's, straight no chaser that she brought to it. And from a sales, because your girl is like that. But from a sales perspective, two things that Estee brought to the table that resounded, that we speak here often in many of our shows is one, know your target audience. And she is firm of belief in who people and what they need and who's not. Does the quick. And over the course of her career, she's figured that out and is able to move that business forward quickly. And two, she spoke to when you're in this space and when you're trying to sell that having an omni-channel presence is important. Remember, she spoke of having a radio presence, being in person, so that offline component is really important. What she's doing to take things to the next space may be in TV space as well as doing SEO and having some paid search or remarketing. So in your sales strategy is great, but you have to have an omni-channel presence and be firm in your conviction on having that move forward in many of a digital realm. And I thought that was important for people to embrace and may have been lost in that message, but she said it several times.
And I absolutely like how she talked about pacing yourself, right? So you want to redo your website. Don't think you're going to rebuild the entire house, right, from scratch. You're not tearing it down and rebuilding it from scratch. You're just going to optimize small things as you go. And just the importance of digital to small business, right? What we didn't get to is I'd love to ask about would have been, that importance of being visible in your area. Because as small businesses, of course, our first lines of business tends to be those closest to us, right? So all the things we can do digitally to be very visible in that area that we operate to start with. So great discussion this morning. Loved it. Loved the energy.
Yeah, Estee's awesome. It was so great to meet her at the chamber, so embracing. And when I met her, I was just like, gotta bring this digital marketer to the stage. It's crazy because I worked with someone that she worked with. And then, so when I reached out, I was like, oh my God, I met Estee. And she was just like, oh my God, I would love to be in the same room with both of you. So apparently she loved us both. So there you go. We're both amazing. Digital marketers.
And I think we might have to do at least a little bit of a segment with mixed media, because we're seeing the confluence of media now, right?
100%. Yeah, 100%. We're definitely going to have to do that. I think that's important. We actually may have something on tap for next season for sure, because of some of the work that we're doing right now. So that radio, TV, if it works the right way, it can all work together with digital, depending on how the data is pulled and all that good stuff. So there's a lot there that's happening. People, it's about being really, I want us to get to that place of just saying marketing, right? Again, because we've really separated the digital and the digital marketing for such a long time. Now we just need to get back to that place of just marketing. So this was a great show. I had a good time. It was fun. So, all right, let me do the housekeeping. Let's get us out of here. It's 8 o'clock. So connect with us. We are at Your Business in Digital. That's the name of the show, Your Business in Digital. And what we do here is we talk to business executives about how they can really be effective with their digital and digital marketing, get to that place of digital increase my revenue by 10%, by 20% year over year. You want to be able to see that growth. So that's why we do the show. Connect with us on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn. Also connect with us everywhere podcasts are found. What we do here at the show is we bring together the best of sales, operations, finance, and marketing so that we're really having a true conversation of a small business. All the stakeholders are here, so you can really hear what they're saying and what they think about. If you're working with a digital marketing agency, we want to give you the right questions to ask so that you can really see that return on investment. If you're not doing any marketing at all, definitely connect with us and we can help you take your marketing to the next level. So always excited to be there, to be here, to be there. I'm always excited to be here with my amazing team and there as well. Happy Wednesday. We will see you guys on Monday. Have a great day, guys. Take it easy. Bye.